Hello everyone, this is Cindy with J Spence Creations, and this tutorial is intended to show you how to use my templates that include multiple photos per slide, and those are sold in my Etsy store as part of my animated video cards templates. So let's go ahead and jump in and get started. So as you can see, you would get a link to be able to open the templates when you purchase a product from my store. In this case, we have one that will have music and one that will have no music. So I have opened up the file that has music, and you can see that in the bottom, and we'll walk through that here in a little bit. But one of the first things that I start with is I go ahead and make a copy when I first start. And the reason why I do that is it gives me some peace of mind. I leave the original untouched. I use the copy so that if I make any mistakes or if I decide to change direction, I can scrap the one I'm working on and go back to the original. And again, I would start and make a copy so that I can make a new version. So that's just a little bit of peace of mind for me. The second thing I always do is right here at the title, I would go ahead and name that early on so that you don't forget, especially since you'll be sending this to friends, to family, to loved ones, to clients. You'll want to go ahead and save it as a file that makes sense. So you could name it Smith Family Christmas 2025, whatever you want, but I would go ahead and make that change. So one of the first items that you want to do is you'll want to change any text. Now you'll see that there are different text boxes available for each of these, and you see they highlight purple around those. So those are telling me that those are each individual things. Now, first and foremost, I would go ahead and change your name or the way you're signing your card first so that you don't forget. And there's a very particular way you want to do this so that it changes across all of the items. So what you'll want to do is go up to File, Find and Replace Text. And what that does is it will allow me to find everywhere where it says a certain word or certain words and replace it with the words I want. So in this case, let's say we want to remove, we can leave from in the, but we want to change Smith's, and we want to change that to the Franklins. Don't hit enter after you type. You want to make sure that you hit replace all, because right now it's showing you you're on slide 1 of 21. It would only change that slide. You want to replace all. So click that. You can see it made the change here on slide 1. Change it to slide 11, same thing. Change it to slide 21, same thing. So that is a very big piece there that you want to make sure, and you can go ahead and X out of this once you've made that. Again, you can search the words if you want to change Happy Holidays to Merry Christmas. That's the quickest way to change it across the board. So that's a pretty important piece. Now, the piece that I think is the most exciting and really what I think the value of my templates are is the photo piece right here. And that is because it is a photo carousel. So while right now it doesn't look like anything's happening, when you start to put in the pictures, they really come to life. They are going to move from right to center to left as a photo carousel. And it's kind of an optical illusion, but you'll see why here in a minute how that works. So first and foremost, you are going to go into Uploads. There are two ways you can upload your photos. Now, one of the first things you would do that I won't show you is you will bring your photos to a folder on your system. So however you want to set that up, it's just easier if you get all of your photos in one place, put them in one folder, and then you're ready to go. When you're ready to upload, you'll go to Upload Files, and you can find that folder and bring those in. Or you can go into the folder where you are and drag and drop into the upload section. So either way, I'm not going to go into detail there. There are other videos out there if you need help with that piece. But really where I'm going to pick up is just showing you how to drop the photos in. So for purposes of this, to illustrate, I'm just going to use photos that are available in Canva. So what I want to do is I want to pick whichever picture I want as my main, I'll call it a cover photo because that's what will open up to start. So I'm just going to go in order here. So I'm going to use this as my main photo. I'm going to put this on the right side and I'm going to put this on the left side. So let's say I have 5 photos that I want to highlight. So one of the things I'll call out, you can make some adjustments. Now, if you double click you will see you are constrained by top and bottom in this particular situation. So the orientation of this photo does not allow me to move up and down, but I can move side to side. If I want to move up and down, I would have to expand this. You can't do that in all photos. So I will say, for purposes of this particular template or any of these frames in Canva, all photos are not created equal, meaning there are some that you can move more than others. Now, in this particular case, expanding it works well. So you will see, even though the picture is a little bit bigger, you really are fitting into the smaller rectangle in the middle. Now, when I click out, you'll see that it does not show the other pieces or other sections of the photo. It is just that part that's held within the frame. So now I'm going to go ahead and go to slide 2. And what you're going to want to do is note the order that you have. So in this case, I want to put the photo that I had in the center, it will go to the far left. Now you'll see the purple box. That's how I know it's dropping in. And when I want to, I'll show you here in a minute, I want to bring over this photo to be the center now. Now, if I accidentally went too far, you'll see this one went to the right. You'll see it kind of lock in. You'll see that purple box around it. So in this case, this is now the center photo. So again, it was the right photo. Now it's center. We're moving over. This is the box that you start to bring in the new photo. So whatever you're now introducing into the carousel comes into the right. So again, next photo, you're going to go. This now was the one that was in the center. It goes to the left. This particular one was what we introduced on the last slide, and it's now coming in and going to the center, and now we'll bring in a new photo to the right. So you'll just keep doing that over and over. And what that does, let me go ahead and show you. I'm going to do preview. And you'll see it gives the illusion of a carousel. Now, one thing you want to note, as soon as you have this, in this case, I only have 3 slides, but I'm going to go ahead again just to illustrate. Let's say I'm good with that. I want to go ahead and delete the rest of the slides. It is important that you delete the slides that you don't need, because if you leave these, it just isn't a good look. So I'll go down to grid view, and I find this easiest because it shows everything in one quick and easy place. So I don't want slide 4 through slide 20. I do want slide 21 because that has my message. That's the final slide. So I want to delete slide 4 through 20. So I click on this. It's got purple. It's highlighted, selected. I'm going to hold my shift key and I'm going to go ahead and click on 20. And what that does is it selects all of these items between. So you'll see the purple box and you know you're ready to go. So I can either click delete on the keyboard or click here. And you now have 4 slides that are ready to go. So again, we'll preview. And you can see that it transitions over and then ends with that slide. So once you're done, once you're ready, you know where you are. You think you've got everything ready. We do have music in this particular one. So when you click on it, you can see that you've got some different options up here. But let's say you don't really like the music that I selected and you want something different. So when you are selected down here, you can hit delete and you can go over to elements and you can go to audio. Go ahead and type in holiday music and hit enter. Now, one of the things to note is these are all pro elements. So you would have to either pay for it or in some cases, they don't let you use pro elements in the free version. So either way, I would suggest, and the music that I selected is a free element, so it is something you can use right from the start. But if you want something different, you do have to scroll down. So that's the only piece that's a little frustrating. You have to look for the free music. You can't sort by it. But let's say you found this one, you can preview over here. So let's say you want this, you can left click and drag. It says drop music, and you can just drop the music in right there. Now, one thing I would say is watch where it drops. So you can see that I dropped it and it didn't quite pick slide 1. So you can see you can either drag the whole thing or you can use this and just drag it over. And now music is set for the whole item. But one thing I do is drop this down. So remember, if you're sending this to someone, you may not want it to be as loud as it might seem. So 100, while it goes up to 400, you can really see what volume do you want to start with. I usually go around 25. I would recommend that. There are a few other items here you can adjust, but some of them are only pro users. But let's say we're ready to go. You like it. You've got the slides as you want. Now we go to share, and you're going to want to download this as an MP4 video. So remember what I said, that video is what brings the photos to life. So when you have a card that is static, it isn't going to move. You would have these beautiful pictures of your family, but it would be a solid stationary card. What this video does is it brings those to life. It sends it through in a carousel and it gives it some motion. So that MP4 video is what you want to do, and it brings all 4 of these slides together in that video that we saw in the preview. You are not able to adjust the quality, which is fine because 1080p is perfect. That is wonderful to stream, to send. You don't need to worry about that. In Pro version, you can adjust it a little bit and get 4K. You do not need that for these purposes. 1080p is wonderful. Select pages. You want to use all of those, so you would just go ahead and leave 1 through 4, and you're going to hit download. You'll see at the bottom, it gives you a status. If you wanted to stop it, you can hit X and stop that if you realized you had to change something, but otherwise you go forward. It does show the download icon down here as well. So we'll come back just a minute when it's rendered and show you what that looks like. All right, so we have the rendered version. And if you remember, when we were watching the preview in Canva, that was the in Canva version. We are now outside of Canva with the MP4 download. So I'm in my media player, so you can see that it's outside of that. And this is where the file now can be sent. So you do have to download it from Canva to be able to use it. So even though you can see it in Canva, it's a moving item, it has music. Unless you download that, you aren't able to send it. So I do want to call that piece out. But you're now ready to go. So let's say you want to email it to someone. If you want to text it, you likely would need to move it over to your phone. So you would either need to have Canva on your phone to where you could download it, or email the file to yourself and then download to your phone. And then you can text it to friends, family, clients, whatever it may be. You can put it on social media. You can do WhatsApp. You can do all of those things. This is now an MP4 file, which is pretty universal. A lot of ways you can use it. So it really is something that can be shared. It is a quick and easy time saver. I think it looks elegant. I think it brings you some additional opportunity. And I really love the fact that it really brings that motion into the pictures and kind of brings them to life. So I hope this is something that you've enjoyed. I hope you have a wonderful time creating things, and happy creating to you.